Hello, everybody. Lucas Haneman here. Welcome to this week's episode of Guitar Tone Tuesday, which is all about 1970s Stratocasters and this really cool chopper right here. By the way, I just want to say thank you to Martin Newman on bass and Val Nahavara on drums for playing with me on that intro clip. That's us playing a section of one of our new tunes that's going to be on our next album. And I'd like to thank my lovely and talented wife, Megan Lawrence, for filming it. So, what is this guitar? Well, despite its seafoam green appearance, this is actually a 1973 Stratocaster. The neck is from 72 and the body is from 73. This belongs to a friend of mine and a frequent watcher of the channel named Derek. And I gotta say, 1970s Stratocasters get really bad reputations. This one has come back from the dead, so to speak. But I gotta say, all the things that Derek did make this a truly great guitar in many, many, many ways. So let's just hear all the pickup positions clean. I'm playing through this Kingsley Bailey 30 over here. And yeah, no effects on right now, just a little bit of reverb from the amp. So here's the neck pickup. Both together, the neck in the middle. Middle. Middle and bridge together. Bridge. Yeah, it sounds cool. Now, this guitar has a crazy story. My friend Derek got this guitar for $50. It was in rough condition when he got it, but I'd say $50 for a 1970s Stratocaster. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Now let's talk about what happened. So when he got this guitar, it was spray painted white. It had a pickguard that looked like it had been put on with drywall screws. Some clown had put the jack in the pickguard. I don't know if you guys know about those Stratocasters from 1982, the early 80s, where the jack was coming out of the face of the pickguard, but that's what someone did to this guitar. In addition, they also painted the headstock some weird color. So, and I think there was no pickguard assembly, or if there was, there were like two pickups in it that didn't really make sense. Some kind of stacked pickups in the guitar. So, needless to say, it was a mess. So, what Derek did was he stripped the paint off. He stripped the white paint job off. He thought that was the original color. He found out that this guitar was that mocha brown, you know, that kind of poopy brown color from the 70s. Sorry for people who like mocha brown, but kind of looks like poop. So he found it was that kind of color. He didn't like that either, so he sanded it down and then repainted it this Seafoam green color. And he did this work himself. He repainted it himself. He didn't even buff it. He just repainted it. I think he used some kind of spray aerosol style paint job. So, but he did a good job. I think it's pretty cool. He got this pickguard assembly off of someone who had a custom shop Strat, and I believe this was an Eric Clapton Strat, because these are noiseless pickups here. I believe they're like Generation 1 or maybe Generation 2 noiseless pickups from Fender. So they sound cool, you know. I'm not always a huge fan of noiseless pickups, but these are interesting. He replaced the tuning machines with vintage correct kind of style Klusons. I don't know if they're the specific, 70s era Klusons, but, they are that, self-locking tuner there where the string goes in and you don't have to worry about it poking out of your, into your gig bag or your case or your face, whatever, right? But it does have this, I think he made this bullet truss rod for the guitar. It did come with a bullet truss rod. Okay, let's look here. This is a 3-bolt neck with the micro tilt. So that's original. The neck and body are original. Like I say, the body is from 73 and the neck is from 72. There was a bunch of holes in the guitar, especially like this whole back area was a big mess. So he bought this replacement cover. He patched up some of the holes that were inside the guitar. And he also turned this into a hardtail. So he took off the tremolo and turned this into a hardtail. So really interesting stuff. A lot of work. That's why I say it was a chopper, because it really was a guitar that was almost ready to be hung out, left to dry, so to speak. But he took it back from the dead, and he's done some really cool things with it. I actually really like the hardtail thing. I don't get to play hardtail Strats every single day, but I got to say, 1970s Stratocasters have a reputation for being very heavy. And this guitar is the opposite. It's just a little tiny bit above 7 pounds, I would say. So it's really comfortable. And the contours in the 70s were a little bit different too. So I don't know if he shaved any more wood off of it, but the contours do feel really nice on this guitar. The headstock, he stripped all the paint off of it. He put this decal on it himself. And he refinished the headstock himself. So he's a very handy guy. I think Derek's actually one of these guys who's thinking about getting into the guitar repair business. So pretty cool. And I think, rightly so. He's good at what he does. That's for darn sure. So I'm going to pick up a pick here and play it with a little bit of overdrive here. I got some of these Mayfly pedals down here today that we've been looking at on the channel lately. So this one, I'm just going to turn on some overdrive first of all. So this is the open window overdrive pedal. Some Univibe. So yeah, it definitely gives me the Hendrixy kind of vibes this guitar does, you know. The neck is really cool. You know, back in these days, the necks tended to have a wider taper. You know, I've played a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot. I've played some 50s and 60s original Stratocasters. And what makes me realize that those guitars are substantially different from current guitars is the dramatic taper in the neck. So what I mean by that is that down here, by the first fret, third fret area, the necks are very skinny and very narrow from front to back, and then they get really big when you get around the 12th fret on most of those guitars. And this guitar is actually very similar to those guitars that I've played in terms of the fact that the neck profile is very dramatic. So down here, it's actually a little bit narrow for me at the nut width. It's very skinny here. And it's not too deep, but it's got a nice neck with a lot of shoulder. I've played a few 70s guitars, and they do seem to have this kind of more U or D profile neck where, there's a lot of shoulder on either side of the neck, and I do enjoy that feeling, especially if it's a slimmer neck. It makes it feel more substantial. So I would say this is it's a decently, maybe a mid-sized neck, feels really, really good. The only thing I would do if this were my guitar personally is I would probably put some heavier strings on it and bring the action up a little bit, because sometimes I find when I'm playing up here around the 12th fret, bending that B string in my E blues scale, it does fret out a little bit, but that's just me, and I'm a heavy-handed player, so that's the only thing. But man, what a treat it is to play this guitar on the show. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see everybody again next Tuesday.